All right, it is episode. We're so crooked right now.
Eagle, Jesus Christ.
Eagle.
One of those weeks, okay?
All right, disregard the first 5 seconds.
Jesus.
Oh my God, man, Eagle, man, you are really struggling today, man. Holy bleepers.
Look, I had to Photoshop my own graphics. Clearly didn't do well. And then a bunch of other things
I think
still
someone,
going on.
I think someone didn't get the graphics request in on time.
No, they did not. It is episode 12.
Don't want to blame Eagle, but it's Eagle's fault.
We are episode 12, are we not?
We are episode
So
12.
we have one more
Did you
to
not
go.
see the graphic? Like,
I
I
believe it's-
clearly indicated the graphic.
Episode 1 and 2.
Small 2.
Yeah.
1 greater than 2. You know,
They're
it's
not the
episode
same
1
size.
greater than 2. He's using like a different varsity font, like times Newman, times Roman, and then he's using like varsity like sans serif over there. All right, so it is episode 12.
I shot the serif.
Yes, you did. We have 4 more playing days left in the FPF spring season before the Fall Cup will be next month. Fingers crossed, as we now approach the final chapters of the season. So, Peeze, what we're going to do a little bit different. We're going to actually cover Division A and B first because we didn't get much props to because there were so little games to be played as they played on the 10th and Sunday last week. So, Peeze, when we look at it right now from the quarterfinals quickly here, Junkyard Dogs advance, All-Stars advance, and the Braves advance over Contraband. So Braves will be in the final direct. So Contraband will play the All-Stars. Urgence Medical will play Junkyard Dogs. KGP against Get Off our D. So, Peeze, in the quarterfinals that we had from Div A and B, surprised by the results that occurred?
I'm surprised by Junkyard Dogs being here for the beer. I know.
By the way, you guys start the clock as well, please.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Sorry.
Eagle, how far into the show are we?
We are 2 minutes and 24 seconds.
Perfect. Here for the beer, I know they were technically the underdog, and I know there was some weird backlash. Every time we announce award winners, by the way, everyone in the world thinks they got snubbed. So full disclosure, I'm not part of the selection committee. I don't know if this is the case for you, Mo. I
I'm
get
not.
flooded. No, I know you're not, but do you also get flooded with
Yeah,
messages?
yeah.
It's
Again,
crazy.
yeah.
Like, I think just because, again, we're the faces on the podcast, people think that we're involved in all
we're God.
aspects.
We are God when it comes to that.
No, it's something I don't enjoy doing is picking award winners. The most involvement I get is once in a while the guys will send me 2 blind resumes and ask for my advice, like with no name attached.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, okay, I think that's more impressive than that, and so on, and give my rationale. And then they still make their decision as well. But yeah, so lots of that with behalf of Sean Avram, who had an interesting season. Wasn't a number that blew you out of the water, but he's the only quarterback in the division that protected the ball. And given the amount of games they had against Division A opponents, that the committee thought that was impressive enough to warrant quarterback of the year award.
Right.
That said, quarterback of the year took a loss. Part of the reason, threw 2 interceptions.
Well, I think, seeing the highlights that we saw on the Instagram stories, like I know it's a small sample size. I was not there physically. I had my own broadcast that weekend. But I will say this. Are we surprised that Sean Avram lost at this point? Probably not.
I'm surprised he lost this game.
But it's in his DNA, though, to lose at the playoffs. It's like,
So you're saying he's a loser?
It is, how can I describe this? It is sort of like a passes or right over here where he loses at this point in the season, right? And
so is he now the 12th best quarterback out of 10?
13th.
So he's 13th in the top 10.
Yeah, 13th of the top 10. So they lose.
I think he just slid below Simon Dajne.
Right,
12.
but we spoke about it, though, right? Did we not say that to beat a team 3 times is awfully tough?
Mm-hmm.
And guess what happened? The Junkyard Dogs made it awfully tough, and they now
Yeah.
advance through to the semifinals that they'll play.
Like we don't even have data about it. It's just sort of this thing that we've experienced in FPF that we know it's hard to beat a team 3 times because they know everything you have at that point, and
Absolutely.
it's really hard to introduce wrinkles without we're not teams that practice outside of FPF games, right? So
Of course.
it's hard to introduce new concepts and stuff like that in the playoffs.
Yes, Eagle.
You know who did beat a team 3 times? The Braves over Contraband.
Yeah, so
That's wild.
here's a story that I heard.
I didn't. So I'm not surprised by it because the Braves are the best team in FPF. I just thought that this is where Contraband will win the game.
Right, so I heard a story from someone. I won't say who. But
Can I guess who?
You could, but you won't guess.
Okay,
Right.
Iggy Magnets.
No.
Is it D. Lazara?
No.
Is it Dan L?
No.
Anthony Lazara.
No. Yeah, he plays in Division D.
I know. Just curious who told you the
No.
story. It could be anybody.
So the Braves are fairly, from what I've been told, the Braves are fairly confident that they'll sweep Contraband 4 times.
Really?
Like they this is out there. Like I know I score kept that game, And one of the players, from what I've been told, said to the contraband, "Hey, you ain't gonna beat us. We're gonna beat you 4 straight times."
Okay, so
now we're at 3.
Peeze, this is me and you now, okay? We have to go through the roster for Braves. So it's Mike Persin, Alex Pilon, JD Chevalier, Julien Paiement, Georges Galipi, Jason Courchain, and Jonathan Maheu.
I'm gonna cross off. It's not Julien Paiement. It's not Joe Mayer. And I don't think it's Alex Pilon.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's either JD Chevalier or Mike Persin would be my 2.
Or Jordy Garipi gets chippy in those games.
That is true. But I
Plus
don't think
he's
I don't
tall,
think he's
so he could be
buddy
heard
with
from far.
Mo, so I don't think he'd give him that. Drop that little piece on him. Maybe.
No,
You know what? Let's just
GG.
say it. It was JD Chevalier. We know now.
Yeah.
Reporting here.
All right.
Reporting
So
live.
we spoiled your source.
Yeah.
You sold it. So that's 3 now on contraband.
Sources tell me.
Sources
Tell me that JD Chevalier was your source.
Sources familiar to the sources
Yeah.
told me.
My source is Eagle.
Exactly. So that's 3
Thanks,
times
Eagle.
they've beaten
This is
contraband.
journalism at its finest.
Absolutely.
It's journalism in 2021.
So that's 3 now with 1 more to go. If contraband already beat All Stars in the single elimination game
Wow,
this week.
that has yet to happen.
Exactly. Which will be played on Thursday of this week, which we'll be there for in Laval. Look, the Braves are the best team. You're right, Eagle. I mean, they are the best team, and I think the Contraband are the only team that can give them a good run for their money. But it's that whole get over the tall mountain climb over here. Can Contraband beat All Stars first, and then try to slay the Braves in the 4th matchup between the two teams?
Let's reverse engineer this for a second. Well, let's say you are you're on Contraband because the team is named after you.
Yes.
Let's say you're their confidant, so to speak. What would you advise to Dan Lazare? Like, how do they get one over on Braves? Should they get that final matchup against them?
I tell Dan to punch him in the mouth. No.
Physically?
No. I just think if you look at his numbers this year for Danny Boy against Braves, how many INTs does he have against them this year, Eagle? I don't know if you can get that up for us.
He can.
I know. So I think it's 4 or 5. I think out of the 10 he's thrown this year. I just think that there's got to be that drive, that kill shot drive that he can close out the game. Because in the second installment that I was there for, they were driving late in the first half. He threw an INT that killed points for them. Had they scored those points, they would have been up by 3 at halftime, going towards the second half.
He has 5 in 3 games.
5 in 3 games. So and how many he had this year? 10 in total.
He has 10 total. Yeah, I mean, granted, 2 of those are not counted because it's the playoff
So
stats.
it's
So
12 in
typically
total.
it's 12.
So
yeah.
5 out of 12 then,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's almost half. So
It is almost half.
It is almost half. So if Danny Boy can cut that into 0, he wins this football game.
So is there a component of this, like in the dark recesses of his mind, where there is sort of doubt's even too strong a word, but just sort of a nagging feeling of like, not the Braves again. Like, is that something where he has to shake that and just go out and be the best version of himself?
He needs to get a voodoo doctor and get that hex
Mm.
off of him. But
Eagle, can you find us the best voodoo doctor in the area, please?
Yeah,
That's your
no.
request for the first segment of the show.
we did a top 70 adult film movies.
We need now the top witch doctor in our area.
Top voodoo doctors in Montreal area, please.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. I said witch doctor. I don't mean to insult the voodoo doctor nation because it's a very serious science.
So voodoo doctor, please, for us, Eagle.
Dr. Edward can use his knowledge to... he's in the Caribbean. You can call him, though, so he's remote.
Or
I'll look.
What
Trip.
about Montreal?
Take a trip with your boys.
514-450 area code, perhaps. That'd be more easier on us.
Montreal voodoodoctors.com.
Yeah, please. I think, look, if Lazare can go INT free, they win this football game if they were to meet in the finals. But they got the All-Stars coming up on Thursday. Excuse me. I just had a burp in my throat.
So you swallowed it like a pro.
I know. So All-Stars, and we know this will not be a slouch of a team for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have to imagine going into this game, Contraband will be the favorites to win this game, and we'll have part 4 with them against the Braves.
I mean, it's a similar reason too. Like, I think the way that there might be that sort of X factor that when Braves walk in, because Braves were that team that took that first championship from Dan Lazare, he has that sort of in his consciousness. but now he wants to get that rematch again, and the only way he'll get that is by going through the All-Stars, right? So, so I think he's going to be so motivated, and the team will be so motivated to do it for him, especially because this is a team which, over time, they started as sort of a hodgepodge sort of guys who came together, but they've been a core now for a little while. So, I think they want to get it for him bad enough, and he wants it bad enough that he's going to make that matchup happen. Eagle, where are we in the Voodoo Doctors?
You're going to have to find one online. There's no locals, but you can use one of those online services.
Well, listen, we've all learned how to do this through Zoom, right? So maybe
exactly.
instead of Zoom, it's I don't know, the Voodoo equivalent of Zoom.
So for Division B, Arizona Medic, Junkyard Dogs, KGP, Get Up for D. Look, Arizona Medic has lost to a Division B team this year. Could Junkyard Dogs pull off the Cinderella?
No.
And a smash and grab?
Next question.
Okay, perfect.
Next.
KGP, Get Up for D.
Arizona Medic is a Division A team in Division B clothing.
Okay, so they're not going to pull a smash and grab.
What would Division B clothing look like?
I don't know. I go to the Met Gala for that one. KGP.
Gold on gold on gold.
Yeah. KGP, Get Off RD. And I think this is the most even matchup with these two teams. Someone's going to have to wear pennies this weekend, by the way, on Thursday.
It's Get Off RD is going to have to wear it.
So Get Off RD has to wear pennies.
At this point, hasn't Jeff Rosenblatt just bought all the pennies? Like, shouldn't he just buy the pennies?
I know, it's true. Good point. So what can Jeff Rosenblatt do? Like, he's had an awesome 7-game season for them. He's thrown more yards than I've ever seen him do at this level. Mm-hmm. Can he slay the KGP boys and get this team to the final?
So I'm of two minds. First is that when you see Jeff Rosenblatt and sort of his protege in FPF, Corey Pecker, the two guys are two guys that you don't think much of necessarily when you first see them throw, right? Like they don't scream off the page as like these guys are elite athletes, but they are. They absolutely perform at the highest levels in FPF. And Jeff Rosenblatt's a guy who's risen through the ranks very quickly, right? Like he's already better than Sean Avram, as we discussed, because Sean Avram now dropped to 13.
Yeah.
So, but in all seriousness,
still dropping, by the way.
In all seriousness, Jeff's really good. He's really good at protecting the ball. He's really good at exploiting something he sees in the field. I remember that first time he played against the Finest, where he gave them a fight for most of the game, and of course Kevin Wyeth figured it out. But just to say, he hung in there with Kevin Wyatt, punch for punch, right? So that's the kind of player they're looking at. That said, Cutler just. I always say Cutler because I'm always deciding in my mind if it's Phil or Jay. I forget which one played in the NFL.
Rayhan Starr called him Jay one time in an interview.
Well, that's it. I've never wanted to make that mistake, so
and he did.
I start by calling Phil just Cutler, and going with it. So the thing with Phil is that we always underestimate him, right? We always underestimate him, and he always performs above that. So I'm pretty sure that Get Off RD win this one, and that makes me certain that KGP will win it, right? Like because that's just the way it's worked out for them.
Right. I just think it's an even matchup with these two teams here. I think the quarterback play will be huge, but the complementary pieces like the Kwesi Gordons of the world, the Adam Rockmans of the world, those are the matchups I want to watch on Thursday, and who of those guys can step up and make a difference in this football game.
Thing is, Raul Barudi is a guy Jeff Rosenblatt sort of brought into FPF. And he's a guy who has that good relationship with a good rapport. We see that in this past game where he got 3 touchdowns against Here for the Beers. And then you throw in somebody as athletic, as freakishly athletic as Anthony Brisebois.
Yeah.
Right? So he has not only a guy or a couple of guys on his team where he has a lot of familiarity with, but then a guy who's one of the top athletes in the league, right? So it gives him that edge.
Right. Looking at co-ed.
So for all those reasons, KGP will win.
Fair enough. We'll make the picks at the end of the show, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
find out at the end of the show.
Tune in later.
Co-ed.
Teaser.
Co-ed, we are down to the championship game, which will be next on the 27th. So we'll save that for next week since we're in the championship game. But we'll recap quickly here that has transpired. So Fantastic Night, we played at Semi-Con, Power Rangers, third down for what? Any surprises from the 4 games we had in the semifinals, Peeze, on Monday night in terms of what played out? Yin and Yang losing by 1 to Semi-Con. Maybe a mild upset of that nature.
I thought Yin and Yang. I think I picked Yin and Yang, so I think that was a surprise for me. But I mean, it's been a pretty even matchup throughout the season, right? Victor Nolin, for those who have not played in Division E, very, very good player. Literally underrated because his rating does not reflect his ability because he started in a low division. And Marie-Ève Girard, big game as well. She got on the board and that made a difference. And that's been the case for Yin and Yang all season, is while other teams have found ways to use their female players and get the most out of them, Yin and Yang always seem to be playing understaffed because they just don't use them. And Mo, I don't care how good your 4 male players or your 3 male players are, you can't play shorthanded all game.
No, you can't. But this is a Gino DeFazio constructed team. He's the architect of this downfall of what he has not been able to do as a captain, GM, whatever you want to call it, team president, CEO. He's like the Jerry Jones without the money and power of flag football, right?
And success
as well. And he isn't
like he's been fine in FPF, but I mean Jerry Jones is a guy who's won multiple Super
I
Bowls,
don't
right?
think Yin and Yang is worth $4.5 billion.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's on its way though. It's
Yeah.
on its way. But look,
I can't wait for FPF to be worth that kind of money, Mo, because we can
Oh.
finally retire.
yeah, we could and just bleep off everyone else. To,
Yeah.
Hey, you didn't pick me for the All-Star team. Well, who are you again?
Yeah,
I have
I'm
no
on a
idea.
beach, so
Exactly. But I just think that Simcoe Call, and I saw them play earlier this season, they were definitely the better team then. They were the better team now. They're in the final. I'm not really surprised by the Tier 1 pairing. We predicted this back in Week 5 that it would be third down for what against Power Rangers.
and it's what we want to see, right? Like, so no offense to Party Mix, and no offense to the other teams that played in this division, but we want to see the best version of co-ed, and the best version of co-ed will help grow co-ed, right? And getting the best matchup gives us the best matchup to watch, and it gives us the best matchup to talk about, and that's what we all wanted. So Power Rangers, third down for what? Give me that every day of the week. It's about as good as flag football gets.
We'll preview it next week,
Yeah,
like we talked
exactly.
about. But this is going to be the third matchup again, and Power Rangers have taken the
2-0.
last 2. So
Yeah. Actually, I was at both games. That was the turning point of the season because remember, third down for what were the poll leaders and were on the front foot. And these guys were trailing them, and then they just took them out the
2
first
weeks
game.
in a row, yeah.
2 weeks in a row. The first game they took them out, I was like, okay, maybe, third down for will come back strong. In that second affair, they were nowhere at the same level as Power Rangers that day. And I think they ran them off for no 5 plays in that matchup. So definitely this third installment would be very intriguing and how this will play out, which we'll preview next week and get the...
So better rivalry. Is it Contraband Braves? Is it Montreal's Finest Hurricanes or Power Rangers third down for what?
Oh, please, come on.
I mean, first of all, Hurricanes, Montreal's Finest doesn't matter to me because who cares? It happened before my time here, so anything before me doesn't matter, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Before Peeze. BP.
Yeah, the BPE doesn't matter, as we all know. And then you have Contraband and Braves, and I don't know if that's as good a rivalry as Power Rangers third down for what.
We'll find out.
Well, we won't because it's subjective.
Exactly.
So
Division
we will never find out.
Exactly. Division E, and we'll recap that. So
I love that as it just like that's the traditional radio device. Like, we'll see. We won't.
We won't.
There's no way to know.
So Division E, we're through 2 rounds. We're now to the semifinals. Of course, a lot of games to digest here. So
and we have I mentioned this in my article, so I'll mention it off the top here. We had an issue with Dilly Dilly. They're not able to play their game yet. There's a COVID test that affected a few teams in Division D and E. Some of those players are on Dilly Dilly. So for that reason, Dilly Dilly Blast from the Past was delayed. So Blast from the Past no longer there. I also did not realize, because I got the IR list and did not realize that Frank Grenier did not throw in the previous game. And because I only had 48 hours to turn out another preview, did not look closely enough to see that Frank Grenier did not throw in the first round.
Yeah,
Frank Grenier
Jeff Trudeau.
was been replaced by Jeff Trudeau. Great receiver for those of you who have existed in the early part of the Peeze era in FPF, but not reputed as a quarterback, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, look, I mean, I score cap the early games in the divisional playoffs. Rainmakers getting crushed by Pincellos. Vince Romano not required. Like, Vince Romano did not have to play quarterback that day. I just thought a lot of the games that I saw were a lot of blowouts. I thought it would have been more competitive, right, because of how close it was during the regular season. And then into the quarterfinals, looking at the games that we had, I mean, there was like Ravens Orioles was closer than expected because Ravens during the regular season handled the Orioles fairly well. But I'm surprised by V-Town. They beat Balls Deep, their regional rival, borough rival, I guess, because how close they are to each other.
I don't know that for sure. I don't know where these guys live. So
I believe they're close to each other, these guys. Are they not boys? I thought they were. Anyway.
I don't know.
But Pincello's coming up big against Trailer Park Boys. Surprised by that Pincello's were able to drop 38 on a Trailer Park Boys team.
Well, can we first talk about Trailer Park Boys being a surprise because they beat Green Means Go?
No, so here's the story with that.
I picked that outright.
So,
I said to me that was sort of a trap game for Green Means Go. Trailer Park Boys are much better than the record show. Green Means Go, good but flawed team.
Well, here's the thing. Eugene McLaren didn't play. He messed up his ankle the day of. And speaking to Dave Allen after, he said, look, man, like we were off our game completely because Eugene McLaren is my snapper. And if he saw it and I score kept that game, the snaps are completely off, going over his head this way to the wide right, wide left, to his knees, ankles.
Maybe Dave Allen's better off snapping that game. He's
a
famed snapper in FPF, right?
It definitely hurt their offense because they couldn't get going that day, and look,
I get
got
it.
knocked
I
out.
get it, but so I also felt as though the team in general is thin, and we saw the game against Pincello's where when things don't go exactly right, they go from looking like the best team in the division to being just a team, and they just came across as a Division E team, just a regular generic Division E team at that point.
Yeah, like full credit to Trailer Park Boys for beating them because it's what it is. You beat them fair and square, regardless who's there, who's not. But
but I thought Trailer Park Boys would give Pincello's a hard time.
And
I thought Pincello's would win the first round. They did. And I thought Trailer Park Boys would give them a run for their money because again they're better than the record was. The first time they played, they were essentially 5 versus 6 almost the entire game. Yeah. So I expected more. Antoine Meunier throwing 4 interceptions is shocking. Although the best part of Pincello's is their defense, right?
So yeah, that's their calling card, man. Like I've now score kept I think 2 or 3 Pincello games, and to use your Miami Dolphins as the example, and by all means he's not this player because he'll never be this player's level talent, but Vince Romano's like Tua Tagovailoa. No. Hear me out.
No.
Hear me out. Junk quarterback who throws a lot of junk balls. Like he's a junk pitcher. You know when you want baseball players that are junk pitchers?
Tua would have to eat a lot of spam.
He does.
To get to.
But it's a lot of junk throws that Romano has.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying to myself, my God, if there was like a team that has any comprehension on how to play defense, would be able.
But that's why that's Trailer Park Boys. Normally, right?
So he's more like a Nathan Peterman.
Yeah,
the Peterman. So we'll say he's a Nathan Peterman out there, Vince Romano. Can we get a headshot of both of them together if we can, please?
Mm-hmm.
No. Yes, you can. But I just find that their defense, if their defense can't pilfer a few INTs in their favor that can go over pick sixes, I'm telling you, now we're deep into the Final Four. Pincello's have to figure out to get a better output from their offense because they cannot rely on their defense to win them games every single week as it has been so far this season.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's yet to happen though, right? So like Eagle said it first on the show that a defense will take advantage of the way Vince Romano reads the defense and the way he executes. It hasn't happened.
My God, look at that beard on him. He looks like Joe Cano, no?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Junior Cano.
We'll call him Junior Cano.
I still like Vince, Karen, Romano. Yeah, they look nothing alike. These two people look nothing alike.
I tried.
Can you get Joe Cano's the headshot there, please, if you don't mind, the Eagle?
Just keep adding headshots of different people as you think of them. Tom Hanks.
I think Joe Cano would be the one that's closest to it.
Dave Matthews. Just get random people, put it on there.
They are the same person.
They're the same
literally
person.
the same person.
Could you get
Whoever has taken our pictures has failed. We have duplicate profiles.
Yeah, can you just get the side-by-side shot if you can, please, Eagle, if you don't mind? Thank you. So as you said before, Peeze.
So, yeah, I thought that was the team. I don't think V-Town's the team. I thought a team like, Save the Turtles would be that, but they got smashed in the first round by Oreos. I thought that Suicide Squad would be that team, and that to me is the shocking thing of the Division E playoffs. I thought Suicide Squad beats Balls Deep, moves on. I thought Suicide Squad was one of the top 3 teams in division.
But that game was a bit off because we were delayed by half an hour, and they didn't have their full roster at first, and Balls Deep was literally ready to go. Look at this.
They're the same person.
My God.
I no longer remember which one is which. So
If we do like the shell game, can you think Peeze will be able to ID who's who, Eagle?
I think
Actually, you're colorblind, so you can't tell the color behind them, can you?
yeah, I can.
Oh, then it gives it away. But
Red versus blue, I guess. I don't know. I mean, what does it give away?
because like if we mix them all up and everything, you'd know which one is which.
Like a shell
Yeah.
game.
I think one of their dads has some explaining to do.
Yeah, my God, man. Look at
Maybe
that.
the same dad.
The facial beard is very close, accurate as finest.
Is this like a Bartolo Colon separate family thing?
I don't know. I don't know about that. But as we were saying before, though, with Balls Deep being Suicide Squad, I just thought it was all off course because of the half-an-hour delay because of the referees and miscommunication on what time they had to be there for. And Balls Deep, they were locked in. They were warming up from like 6:45 until 7:30, and they looked like the hungrier team at that time and how they won the football game.
Yeah. But that's it. So now, if I look at it, it's the only team I see on Well, it's Dilly or Ravens, right?
So
Like,
is that the final? If you had to say right now, Ravens versus Dilly?
yeah, absolutely. To me, there was 3 clear-cut, really good teams, and I still think there's a difference between Suicide Squad and Dilly and Ravens. Dilly and Ravens, they're same caliber, if not better roster than Suicide Squad, and Suicide Squad had a rookie quarterback. So these two teams are at least as good, but also have more experience at the quarterback position.
So we see the NCAA March Madness tournament where they reseed with the brackets, right? In that element. And I'm not saying it should be done now, but maybe in the future, do we reseed the Final Four to have the best matchups? Because in theory, if you're saying if Ravens do play Dilly in the semifinal game or the conference final, however we're going to call it, that is the de facto final in your mind.
Yeah, but I want to see Vince Romano get embarrassed on tape.
Yeah, but that's
So,
just a waste. That's like a waste
finals,
of.
let's do it.
That's like a waste of an hour for all
And
of
you get to
us.
broadcast it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's true. We need to meet after this show immediately because
To be determined.
the 2 broadcasters for this division
But I
probably.
mean, it does bring up an interesting question, and we've
What,
talked
do
about
we
this
have a
before.
road show? That's the question.
Not
yeah.
that question.
No, that's
But
not-
the whole idea of we reseed every round, wouldn't it be cool to actually do a true bracket where if you're the 8th seed, if you were Trailer Park Boys and you beat Green Means Go, why are you then sacrificed to Pincello's next on the list? Shouldn't you get the 4-5 matchup?
But that's a fair point, though, right? Like I always thought in the back of my mind for the bigger divisions, for the lower divisions that we have for FPF, whether spring or winter in particular.
Because of the greater variance.
Yeah, like I just think it'd be fascinating to see a 16th seed knock out the 1, perhaps, and then they take on the next seed, which would be 8, 9, and so on and so forth here. Maybe that can be discussed for future ideas for playoff formats. But again, I just think that you're right, Peeze. The Ravens, if they do play Dilly, could be the final, and then whoever wins this game will probably blow out the winner of Pincello's versus V-Town. And we probably have pissed off those 2 teams saying, me, bro, these guys, who are these guys?
That's the show.
That's show me. They
That's
sleep
the
on
show.
us. Sleep on us. Sleep on
Do
us.
you not get what we're doing?
Yeah, anyway.
I mean, no. Screw them. Chills are terrible.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Division D, we got to make a move on here, Peeze, with the Division D. So we're now progressing through. I'm sorry about your Hot Sauce Sports. Eagle, sorry about lockdown. I thought they had a chance maybe to...
Can we never play outdoor games again? Just asking for a friend.
well, I know you're not a big fan
Asking
of
for a friend who can't grip a wet ball.
I
Winter
know.
is coming.
Yeah, thank God. Because
We
at least we can't play
We might have to
outdoors.
play outdoors given the passport rules that we have going forward. Okay, so we are now down to the semifinals, right? Almost. We still have to determine some other semifinal dates to be played. So, Peeze...
we had some fun in Division D actually because of all the stuff that happened. So just again to give everyone the full transparency, Petey's and the Gronies decided to forfeit their game. I don't remember the exact reason, but they basically decided to not play.
I believe it's because of a family wedding that these guys were involved with.
I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
So
they consumed too many Negronis, I imagine.
So that happened in that particular game. We also had a positive COVID test for the Kiss My End Zone game immediately following their game versus Sparrows Legion.
So we're
Hence
not
why
saying-
the part of my swag game has been delayed.
We're not saying who, but anybody who's like this much of a sleuth can easily figure out, what happened.
Especially when we start going through Division C
Yeah.
and the Division E stuff. And yeah. So, yeah, that was a problem in the scheduling. And, so that kind of delayed a little bit of stuff. So, technically, this game's 60-0 top season. And then the PMS game is coming next Sunday. And the winner of which will then determine the other 2 seeds that are going to play at 9 o'clock, essentially.
You mean this Sunday, right?
Let's do this Sunday.
This Sunday, right?
They play basically right before the next round.
Right.
Exactly.
So, quickly, Mo, like, what... Because we said that this was going to be... Division D was going to be particularly interesting.
Tuts and parlays.
What were the surprises for you?
Tuts and parlays.
Tuts and parlays, okay.
Not that the surprise that they finally put it together to put a run. I mean, they took out new guys. New guys kind of struggled towards the end, stumbling and bumbling into the playoffs, and didn't look like a confident team that they were in the first 4 or 5 games. I think Tuts and parlays, their turning point was, I believe, their last game of the season. I forget who they played in Broster. Eagle, if you can just find out that schedule for me, the last game in Broster that they were in. That, in my mind, turned it around for Anthony Lazara and for that offense because...
They played a Rouge, 27-25.
That's right. Thank you very much. So that was the game they were down. Offense couldn't do anything, and it just turned up from... They had a pick 6, another pick that was resulting in a touchdown. Didn't look back. I think that's where they developed that arrogance and confidence about themselves to go out there and win this type of football game. And I'm not surprised that they're now in the semifinal portion of this playoffs. And perhaps with their wealth of playoff experience with those guys on the roster, from Anthony and Dan Lazara to others on that roster, they could definitely make some noise and get to the finals.
Yeah, for me, it was... There's a few surprises, but I can't believe how easily Fighting Illini have gone through. I know Kevin Swoon is back, and he's no longer...
It was a rope-a-dope by them this season.
Well, it was injuries, right? Like they were heavily affected by injuries. They have all their players back, and they look really good. And Johnny Fireball beating Glow Gang, I thought that was like a upset special there for Glow Gang, but they couldn't get it done.
Well, I mean, you know how I feel about Johnny Fireball. False Kings. But I just think that now, like Stoics, I've been bashing on this team all season long. Second
half, they figured it out. I mean, they built a system that works for them, and clearly it's working. I mean, if you're scoring 36 points and only allowing 14 against, that's a playoff team.
So the thing is, Chris Rive is a really smart quarterback, and Les Bleus Blancs play a fairly obvious defense. And, I say that as a guy who got picked off by them all night. But at the same time, Chris Rive executed, and they don't seem to be particularly great at adjusting, and Chris Rive is. So that doesn't surprise me at all. Stoics, to me, it was just a matter of time before they figured it all out, and then they added Vincent Chung, which to me, GM of the year goes to Chris Rive for that decision.
Oh, please don't give this guy like a big head now.
No, I'm telling you, Vincent Chung's a huge... To have that guy at a 60-60 rating is out of this world.
Well, yeah.
Or 55-55, whatever he is.
Right. But I think now, like, moving forward, I mean, we still have to figure out part of my so I can kiss my end zone for the other portion of the playoff format that we have left. But I just don't know if there's like a definitive favorite at this point of the season because, again, we still have Giant Fireball against Tuts and Parlays, Stokes against Fighting Illini, PMS. Who would they play if PMS were to be kiss my end zone here?
They would play the lowest seed.
Because on the semifinals, we have 4 games. So that means we have 8 spots to be filled in. 4 of them have been filled in. So there's still 2 games to be determined. Am I correct on that, or am I seeing this wrong here, Eagle?
So they would play... Hold on. Just figuring it out. I got to go through this here.
Oh, Eagle's stumbling. Man, he's had a terrible day today.
Yeah.
Huh? Like,
rough
the light was in the way.
The camera wasn't set up.
Yeah, like the graphics were off. Like, when Eagles like frazzle, it's like, man, it's like stacking with
the Vultures is 3.
The way the camera was set
Bruins
to show,
1.
It was like on our face.
It looked like someone stumbled onto your OnlyFans, Mo.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my God, I'm sorry for ruining your
They
picture.
would play Los Siete Amigos, because all the other 3 seeds have won. So Bruins have won, Vultures have won, and LSA have won. So PMS is the only team missing at this point. So PMS is the 2 seed. No, so Bruins would play LSA, and then PMS would play Vultures.
So, but I'm trying to figure this out here. So there is, because I know that we've had the flip flop because of COVID-19 and other issues at hand here. So Sunday, September 19th. There's supposed to be 4 games played at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, right?
Yes.
So there's going to be more games that night. Do I stand correct on that?
No. Those are the games that are scheduled. So right now, Johnny Fireball is playing Tuts and Parlays, and Stoics is playing Fighting Illini. So that's the Division D2 bracket that's taken
exactly
care of.
right.
In D1,
Yes.
Bruins, Vultures, and
Okay.
LSA have advanced. They are 3 of those 4 seeds at the 9 o'clock
Right,
games.
because it's not shown on the screen. That's wanted to make sure about that, right?
Oh yeah, okay, sorry,
Yeah,
you can't.
Yeah,
Actually, yes, you can see it on the screen right now.
Well, TBA says right now.
Yeah, but that's exactly it. So the teams that are left are Bruins, Vultures, LSA, and then the winner of PMS Kiss My End Zone. So if Kiss My End Zone wins, they play Bruins, and then Vultures plays LSA.
So who if
They're
PMS,
playing at 9 o'clock, guaranteed.
No problem. So if PMS were to win against Kiss Manzo, which I
If
think will be the
PMS
case.
wins, they're playing Vultures, and Bruins are playing LSA.
So that is a sumptuous Final Four right there.
Yeah.
It's the top 4.
Yeah.
It is.
Literally, it's the top 4.
And I've score kept 3 of those 4 teams, and the margin of error is like razor thin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Division D's given us what we wanted so far, right? It's given us sort of upsets and all that stuff, but in general, this is what you want in the end, right? You want the best teams playing, and those 4 teams, you're right, Mo, it's the best the division has to offer. The margin I think across the division was small, but like amongst the top teams, it's hard to pick one. Like you're literally picking names out of a hat to decide who wins.
So Kiss My End Zone, do you give them a chance against PMS?
0.000.
I think Alexis Dubois must think like deep down he can beat this team.
Oh yeah, well, you have to, because why wouldn't you? It just, I think there's too
Sports by 50.
there's too much. There you go, right? But that's the whole thing. That's the joke is based on that. But I think that there's just too much. Brandon Kyler, Craig Browning, Jordan McInnes, and Riley Pinecombe, like they don't have. There's not enough. There hasn't been enough roster consistency and cohesion. And I like. Yeah, you can take away someone's size with JD Jolly, but is JD Jolly really taking away Jordan McInnes, for example?
No, he's not.
So like they have the pieces to do it, but like where part of my Swags pieces are Lamborghinis, Kiss My End Zone has a whole lot of Honda Civics.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that front. I just think that
reliable, but just
if,
not that.
If PMS are to win, it just completes that missing piece to have a really seductive Final Four.
Yeah.
You know.
And if they win, they take away. If Kiss My End Zone win, they take away our good times.
It just kind of soils the whole.
So
process.
let's all root against them.
Yeah.
As a league, as a community, let's root against Kiss My End Zone because we don't want to take away our feel good.
No, we don't.
For screwing up our stupid brackets.
Yeah.
Of course. Johnny Fireball, Tuts and Parlays, Stoics, and Finding Leany. I know we spoke about it briefly here. I don't know if Josh Feeder can take that next step because he's been erratic this year as a quarterback.
Well, he's not an experienced quarterback. He has thrown some, but the strength of his team is the pieces around him. And when they have, AJ Rashkevan, Kevin Smuda, Dondre Borden, Marvin Steinberg, that's stupid as a roster.
But you know what? I'm not going to pick and prod and be like TMZ here, but he just can't connect with Marvin Steinberg.
Okay, but so if he's your 4th receiver,
here's the question though, right? When you look at the Stoics, because they're playing the Stoics this week, who is their X factor that's gonna shut down the Illini offense? Like who's playing on Smuda?
The brother, I imagine.
Alexandre Rivet?
Yeah.
Okay,
because of the size and
Smuda wins that matchup though.
Yeah, it's a similar thing where they might have the pieces, but not quite. Like let's say Vincent Chung, right? He's your most gifted,
he only
athletic.
has 2 games played, by the way.
What's right?
He only has 2 games played.
Who?
Chung.
He's an IR replacement.
Yeah.
Oh, IR played. Yeah.
So he has let's say he's the most athletic defender on the team, right? Is he taking away Dondre Borden?
No,
you trusting a Division E defender to take away a guy who's easily, from the day he walked onto FPF, a Division 3 caliber receiver, like from day one?
Vince Chung has like 9 games experience.
That's what I'm saying. Like
he's not going to do it.
And as athletic as he is, he's not Dondre.
It's like Alabama.
And then on top of that, they still have AJ Rashkevan. So who do you have there, right? Like, I don't know. I don't see the matchups for Stoics. I think it's the worst draw. Like they were somewhat matchup dependent, and this is the worst matchup for them.
Yeah, and like for Tuts and Parlays, Johnny Fireball, and I know you're a big NBA guy, Peeze, and I'll use this example to describe Tuts and Parlays because it came in my head just now. They remind me of the 1994 New York Knicks.
Okay,
Scrappy.
John Starks and
Yes, Mason and all those guys, Oakley.
The team
Ewing.
that Michael Jordan let get to the finals
Yeah,
by
he said
retiring.
1 year, playing baseball.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm in Birmingham. Go ahead, play and lose to the Rockets. But they're scrappy.
Was Allen Houston on that team?
No, he wasn't.
His
He was
later?
after
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Came in '96 actually. So they're scrappy. They're blue collar. They'll muck it up. It's not pretty football, but they win. And I just think that this is the formula they have to apply playing Johnny Fireball on the weekend. That if they're gonna make it to the finals, they're gonna have to really be scrappy and try to win it like in a low scoring affair.
Yeah, so Chris Bouvet has to be perfect. And
That's Stoics.
sorry.
I'm talking
Oh, you're
Johnny-
talking about Johnny Fireball.
Johnny
Yeah.
Fireball.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Dozen parties. Yeah. So the thing with I just had the Stoics page open on my screen. The thing is with Tuts and Parlays, the calling card's always going to be the defense on that team, right? Like it's a combination of guys who are better athletes than you'd expect, combined with the fact that they have a lot of higher end division experience.
Right.
They don't get rattled easily. They will rattle you on the other end of that. And Johnny Fireball runs a pretty gimmicky offense that, like, I can just imagine a guy like Dan Lazara who's seen every look in FPF, right? He sees these gimmicks. He's going to instantly know how to neutralize them. And then Johnny Fireball, when I played against the Mo, they didn't run a single hook and they didn't run a single quick out unless it was in the red zone. So all of their plays, they're constantly just trying to look for like 15 yards and plus at all times.
Right.
And it was a lot of broken plays and quarterback running around buying time and two quarterbacks and a whole bunch of this stuff. And that's not going to work. That's not going to work against Tuts and Parlays, right?
Right.
So they need to, Johnny Fireball for them to shed the moniker of false kings. A, we need to win this game. B, they need to create a more disciplined, more methodical offense, and I don't think they currently have the capacity for it.
No, not now. Not now. Not saying they're going to run out of racetrack, but
Because the
idea-
athletes on Johnny Fireball are ridiculous.
they're good players.
Like they're better players probably over, like on average,
Yeah.
than Tuts and Parlays, which is not an insult. Both teams are talented, but the thing is that from a knowledge perspective, they just don't have it yet. They're new. They're too green.
Yeah, I think now for
Johnny Greenballs,
for Johnny Greenballs or Johnny False King Greenballs.
Johnny False Balls.
That's a good one. You know what? Replace false kings. We're playing false balls.
False balls.
They are now false balls. That's what they are. Moving
Yeah.
forward. Every team that we don't like, false balls. Well done, PC.
You're welcome. That's why I get paid the big bucks. Bro.
Exactly, and we're gonna get reprimanded.
That's why I
by
get $1 more than Eagle.
we're gonna get reprimanded by the suits at this complex over here about using the term false balls. Anyway,
No, it's fine.
It's football, isn't it? We're
It
always
is.
talking balls.
I'll let you in on the secret. So we opened the fall registration. We had to reject a team name.
Mm-hmm.
Rob actually caught one.
For once.
Cream pies. So false balls is probably okay.
I would have allowed it. It could be a snack.
yeah,
It's not,
I mean,
though.
I
It's
mean,
not. But it could be.
Look, it could have been a nice logo on the T-shirt. I mean, we've seen some nice ones. Joe Cano, he's
Bearded
always
clams, family jewels. So there's been some good ones.
well. Joe
Peace,
Cano, right?
jazz.
When he had some peanut butter and jelly, it could have been like that, right? It could have been a cream pie.
The minge.
The minge, yeah, we could have had that. So
That's it. There's been some creative ones for.
yeah, balls deep. Yeah, we'll use so many times. So anyway, at this thing, I lost my train of thought. We're talking about Johnny Fire.
Green balls.
The false balls.
False balls.
False balls. I see your
Eagle,
point.
can you clip the false balls segment so
Yeah,
we
please.
can put it out there?
I'm just gonna say false balls over and over again.
Yeah,
False
that's fine.
balls.
That's fine. Just do a montage of us saying false balls
False balls.
and like lay it over with like a picture of Johnny Fireball.
Let's just make sure the audio is clear. Mo,
False balls.
Peeze,
False balls.
and we're good.
Thank you.
So-
Thank you, Eagle. Good production.
Just to wrap up this whole segment here on this false balls narrative. I see your point, but I think you're bang on that it might be too late to make your adjustments now. So you live by the sword, you die by the sword, and they'll go with what they do best at this point. Because they can't. I don't think they have an idea how to really simplify an offense.
I agree.
And then okay, we're gonna do 5 and outs, 10 and outs, 10 hooks, 5 hooks.
Well, it's just not what they do. So the timing won't be there. It's going
Yeah.
to lead to a lot of interceptions if
Exactly,
they do that now, right?
And it becomes a meat grinder. If favors Tuts and Parlays in this matchup. All right, Division C. We're inching closer and closer to perhaps having the rematch of the Div C Week 11 showdown between Infantry and Bless, which Bless had won. And we are now down to the quarterfinals, which we still have to be determined with Shit taking on Sheesh, which is still to be played. And then we'll figure out the final 4 pairings we have lined up.
We got to clean something up too. Top sauce. So we were under the impression Pat Jason was going to throw the rest of the season. For whatever reason, we just hadn't covered a top sauce game in August.
Or the ones we did, Jason was actually throwing in that game.
But Vince Nardone has been throwing again. He threw on August 8th. He threw again from the 19th onwards.
Where the hell were we? Where were
I think we just
the one game we picked to cover, Jason was quarterbacking, and we just assumed all the other games.
Where were those games, by the way? So
he threw against les Centaurs, he threw against les Gros Coqs, B-Ballers, Balls Deep, East W. All those games were games Jason threw. Against the Infantry, it was Nardone, Mangoose, Blue Dreamers, Silent Ticklers, and then this past game against Blue Dreamers, and then Blessed as well.
Right. So Infantry advance, les Gros Coqs taking out B-Ballers. Are you surprised by that?
Les Gros Coqs taking on B-Ballers.
34-13 win by the Gros Coqs.
Yeah, that absolutely is surprising because, again, to me, B-Ballers was one of the elite 3 in the division, and les Gros Coqs are not at that level. Was there like a roster issue, or was it just them beating?
Well, the Gros Coqs been playing really good, I think, the last 3-4 weeks.
But for B-Ballers to put up only 13 points.
And
against a defense is not great. So Chalvero threw for B-Ballers, as did William Trottier. Yeah. So that's what happened. They wouldn't have the quarterback. So not surprised. Because Gianni Cassati is what makes the team special. Like, the team is incredibly talented, but the fuel that makes the engine go is Gianni Cassati.
So what division are they going to be in if they come back in winter?
I imagine they're Division 3. They have to be Division 3.
Middle or
Cassati's quarterback rating is 77.7. So you're stuck in C. You might be able to go.
How is Gianni Cassati's new rating 2 points higher than mine?
Hold on. Let me go FPF.
Please don't tell me his rating is 2 points higher than mine, Eagle.
Yeah,
hold on.
Because then I'm sending a letter of complaint to FPF.
Yeah, it's like
Cassati's new rating is 82.1.
There we go. Division 3.
So he's Division. This team's Division 3 bound.
Yeah, and when you look at the pool of quarterbacks, like Stephen Harpersad will be there as well. Like that makes a lot of sense, right?
Right.
So it doesn't surprise me
if they come back for fall, he'd have to play Tier 1 actually because QB cap is 80.
Right. Okay. So for Infantry and the Blessed, they're waiting to see who they're going to play. So they're either going to play Shit, Sheesh, or les Gros Coqs. Mm-hmm. Out of those 3 teams, the Gros Coqs, Sheesh, or Shit, is there like a bad matchup for either the Infantry or Blessed to play one of these teams?
No. Sheesh maybe just because of the overall athleticism, but yeah, I don't see it. And the way Sheesh has played down the stretch, and specifically, they won that Week 11 game against Mangoose.
Yeah,
they put up big numbers against Balls Deep, which is what you want to do. Like you want to see that. You don't want to see them skate by a struggling team, right? You want to see Andrew Langford put up a big number against a bad team. That's what he did. But
they're battered and bruised, this Sheesh team.
But they're getting healthier. Like Dondre Borden now is healthy. Vincent Benjamin is still there. I believe Langford's good to go as well. So like, I don't see. But still, even at that, there's such a difference between Infantry and Blessed and anyone else in the division.
Yeah, I think there is a gap that I think. Look, here, I'll say this. If Infantry or Bless have an off game, then I think they can be had by Sheesh or Shit or the Gros Coqs. But I think realistically speaking here, I'm not saying we can dry the ink yet, but we're on that course to have part 2 with these 2 teams in the final.
The other thing is Infantry hasn't played in like 3 weeks. Have they? Oh, no, they did. They did. They played
on
last week.
13th,
okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second. How did they not play since the playoffs started? But they beat Silent Ticklers, who I thought Silent Ticklers might be one of the teams to give them a hard time just because of Jordan Panetta's skill and FPF knowledge.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an issue at all. Infantry rolled them.
Yeah, and I just think that the firepower...
Other than Blessed, who put up 40 points against them, Ticklers were the next highest team to score points against them at 27, only followed by Sheesh at 26.
But that's literally the point I'm making, Eagles, that you have these 2 teams that are far and above everyone else.
The artillery.
But that's what I mean. When you say
deep.
Ticklers would have given them a challenge, they technically
They
did.
technically did.
They were the
Yeah.
second best team to play infantry.
But the artillery's deep for infantry and blessed, right? Like even when
Is that
blessed,
a military joke?
Yeah.
Infantry, artillery?
exactly, perhaps.
Holy
But
war
you
for
realize
blessed.
the infantry don't have artillery, hence why they're called the infantry.
Yes, but when blessed
They
was
have
banged
infants.
up,
Yeah. It would be like calling the infantry the Air Force.
right? So when
They don't have planes. They're
Sure.
the infantry. They're on the ground.
right, whatever you want, I don't care. When blessed was banged up and they had some guys down for the count midway through the season, and I score kept a lot of their games. Said, man, I don't know if they're gonna hold on to a top 2 seed because the B-ballers kind of.
But it wouldn't matter.
hounding
They
them.
could have come in at the 8th seed if they have all their pieces for the playoffs. They're
But
the best or second best team in the division.
But I'm implying though that even when they were in full strength, they still ran through and got the 1 seed with what they had.
Again,
And-
they have the smartest quarterback in the division.
yeah.
They have one of the most athletic cores. That think of it like we saw what fighting Illini looked like without Kevin Smuda, right? We saw what Blessed looked like without Kevin Smuda. I was like, okay, it's not the same,
No,
but they're still winning games, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that's why I just think that it's going to be compelling storylines in that semifinal about who they will play. I think whoever they play, Infantry and Bless, they will get a good run. But I think these two teams are the cream of the crop when it comes to it, and at the end of the day. So,
by the way, another guy we haven't mentioned all season, he's been huge for them, especially with guys going out and down. Jafar Hassan.
yeah, he's played both ways very
Yeah.
well for them.
Very good.
very
Very
gritty.
good, solid player on both sides of
Yeah,
the ball.
good team guy then.
Yeah.
So I guess since we've ran through the gauntlet of divisions here, it is now time for.
Games of the week.
Look how good we
Nice.
are on time.
By the way, how did we do last week with our prognostication? Did we track that or no?
I will go do the math on it. We
Pretty sure I
didn't do
won.
great. Let's just put it that
Well,
way.
no,
Well, we
you
both
didn't do
Yeah, because
well.
we picked different teams.
Yeah, you didn't do well,
Okay,
not
so
we.
I-
So
didn't
Mo and
do-
I combined are 500.
Yeah, exactly. We're 500 in this whole process.
But yeah, like we're close, but we're not great. We got Trailer Park Boys though.
You're not close.
I got Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, you're not close. We're great. You're not close.
All right, so we're gonna do the matchups, and sometimes we'll have to do like both in case whoever's gonna win, so we can do the different options
Right,
depending
right,
on how it
right,
ends up. So we're gonna start with the Division A and B games. So starting with Urgence Medic and Junkyard Dogs.
UM.
KGP Get Off Our D.
I'm going to go KGP.
I'm going to go get a FRD.
And Contraband All Stars.
Contraband.
Contraband. I don't like it, though. I don't like going against Kevin White in playoffs. But
Yeah.
Contraband. They're a better team.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna do Actually, no, we're
It's
gonna
like
skip
Kerouac.
co-ed.
Why is he even still playing? It's corpse at this point.
We're skipping co-ed. We'll pick that next week.
Yes.
Division E, we have Pincellos and V-Town.
I'm going to go Pichellos.
Pancellos, unfortunately.
Okay, and then
By the way, remember the late Pete Rozelle and the late Al Davis when they were having their NFL feud with the Raiders trying to move to LA and Pete Rozelle trying to block it? So if Pinchellos were to win, we need Peeze to present the trophy to the Pinchellos and to
Not
Vince
doing
Romano.
Not doing it.
And had that photo up, right? Like here's Peeze presenting the trophy to Vince Romano. If
But
they
this is
do
what's
win.
going to happen. I'll happily present it to my boy Flag Jesus when the Ravens win, as I predicted at the beginning of the season.
All right, here we go.
all right, and then so for the other matchup, we're gonna pick both because Dilly Dilly and Blast from the Past is
Dilly
not
Dilly.
decided yet. So it's either gonna be Ravens versus Dilly Dilly, in which case,
I have Dilly Dilly winning the first game.
I'll
and
tell
then-
you what I say every time I'm in Jersey. Give me the double D.
all right, or Blast from the Past could win, and then it's Ravens Blast from the Past.
No. Dilly's advancing through.
Yeah.
We said
Dilly Dilly.
All right, Dilly Dilly it is. We're gonna go Division D next. We have Johnny Fireball.
Hold on. The
more-
the final four has to be determined now. We're making the picks for that now.
That's
Eagle.
it. That's it for Division E.
But don't they play the Final Four in the weekend
Ravens,
also?
Dilly Dilly.
They play the next round.
They play on Sunday.
That's it.
Yeah, they play.
That's all there is.
No, but they play the next round. Don't
Yeah, they play the
That's
next
it.
one.
That's all there is.
they? Oh.
Ravens. Hold on. Ravens against Dilly Dilly,
Yeah, wouldn't that happen?
and
And then Pinchellos play V-Town.
we didn't make a pick.
And then that's it. That's
We
the
didn't, but we
semifinals.
didn't pick Ravens.
or
Dilly
Dilly
Dilly.
Dilly. We said
Well,
Dilly.
that's what I said. Ravens, Dilly Dilly.
Oh,
Oh,
so then I
okay.
picked Ravens.
Yeah, pick Ravens to win that.
You guys are
We picked
idiots.
Dilly Dilly when the
I
first
said
game.
Dilly Dilly Blast from the Past. If Dilly Dilly wins,
They win.
Ravens Dilly
You made
Dilly.
it confusing.
They win.
Yeah.
Ravens
Ravens are
win.
going through. He
Same page.
confused himself.
You guys. All right, we got Division
You get
D.
a three-week
Johnny
break.
Fireball, Tuts and Parlays.
That's in parlays.
That's some products.
Okay. The Stoics fighting Illini.
You know what? They're starting to really pull on my heartstrings, the Stoics, but give me the Fighting Illini.
Same.
Okay. Now we're gonna
Not
go.
same fighting Illini.
We're gonna go with the 2 outcomes. So let's say PMS wins for this upcoming game.
Let's just say PMS wins.
PMS wins, okay?
We're gonna have PMS versus I think it's
Vultures.
Vultures, exactly.
PMS.
Okay, and then Bruins would be versus LSA.
Bruins, but I don't like it.
LSA.
LSA might win that one, but I'll go Bruins.
LSA is going to win.
Okay, now let's go with the other option. Kiss My End Zone wins.
No.
Then we have-
We made our picks.
Yeah.
Kiss Man's not winning.
No, they're not. They're
They're
gone.
out.
They might as well just.
You said PMS.
I'd say don't show up for the game, but we don't forfeit, so you show up to the game, but just lose gracefully.
Okay.
And I'm gonna laugh at you.
Then we have Division C. So let's say the South Harmon Institute of Technology wins. In which case, then you're gonna have the infantry versus. Hold on.
Are you going with shit?
Yeah, but he's just confusing himself.
Because I'm going sheesh. So this one we might have to pick both scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, Eags, we can just pick the scenario that we stick with. You don't have to go through 2
Yeah,
scenarios.
but I'm saying this one here we might have to go two because you're
I
gonna go
know.
shit and I'm gonna go sheesh.
Yeah, so here, I'm going to go shit, and he's going to go sheesh on this
Okay,
one.
so let's start with the most scenario. So shit wins.
Okay, so if shit wins, that
Yeah.
means they are playing the infantry. Oh, let me just confirm that. Hold on.
I
Who
think
do
they're
we
playing Blessed.
have? LG.
And there goes my headset.
Yeah, LGC is 5. So Blessed would play LGC.
So give me Blessed to win that game. And give me Infantry to beat shit.
And then infantry would play shit.
Yeah. So give me a Blessed and Infantry to go through.
Okay. And then if Sheesh were to win, then Blessed would play Sheesh.
Give me blessed.
Oh, you do? Okay.
That's
so
it.
you're
Because it's
doing
my
it.
scenario.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And then infantry will be playing LGC.
Eagle.
Infantry.
Okay.
Because it'll be blessed infantry at the finals. It doesn't matter. So here's the thing: shit versus sheesh doesn't matter. So
Yeah, Eagle confused himself. What a terrible start.
I'm trying to do the different scenarios, the different outcomes.
Don't worry about the scenarios. We go with what we want to go with here, you know? The finals week, we're going to have our previews to that. We'll have a plan for that because, again, we have to preview all the finals, so we might do a little bit different format. Maybe get the writers on as well to get their picks. Who knows? But we're down to the final show, and don't forget, registration is open for the Fall Cup as well.
already registered. Okay.
When's the deadline to register for Fall Cup? Like the
I
last day?
believe it's end of September or when the division or the tier is full, whichever comes first.
Right.
4 divisions available. You can register for Tier 3. Max cap is QBs at 70 or 385, I think is the number for that. Tier 2, which the cap is 80 for QBs, and I think 440. And then Tier 1, which has no quarterback cap, but has a roster max at 500.
You said 4 tiers, though, no?
Yes, and then fourth one is
co-ed.
co-ed
Okay.
with a quarterback cap of 80 and somewhere in the 430, 440 range. I never remember the exact numbers.
And a reminder again from the health protocols, the passport will be enforced, Eagle, for the next season that we will have.
Unfortunately, so is the way I'm going to describe
So
it.
this-
We'll have to comply until the government decides we no longer have to comply.
Right. So FYI, for those who are on the fence or who are contemplating coming back but aren't vaxxed, take into consideration that we will have to enforce, not us, but the buildings that we are going to be playing in for the
Correct.
Fall Cup and then going towards winter if it's still in
Please
place.
don't complain to us because there's nothing we can do, and that's all the information I can give
Yeah.
you. I
Small
don't give a
correction,
shit.
Tier 3, 395, Tier 2, 445, Tier 1, 500, Co-ed, 475.
Okay, fair enough.
New ratings are up, so if you
Yeah.
search for your name, actually, let me show everyone how to do this.
Okay, here we go. Let's do
If
it.
you
Let's take
search
the
for
name.
your name at the top over here,
How about
so let's
Peeze?
say Paolo.
I'm not enjoying this, by the way.
Hey, you went up,
Paolo
Peeze.
Della Rocca
Yes.
showing up over here. Right now, we're in the spring season.
Yeah.
So notice his quarterback of 69.8. If I were to
Nice.
switch this to Fall Cup 2021 and do the exact same thing,
The screen would disappear.
He's really having
Yes.
a tough time today, man. Oh,
no,
Eagle.
this is how it works. And then if we do Paola, now it's 75.6.
Hey! All right.
Not happy.
My boosting of your stats has finally paid off.
Not happy. Yeah, you threw those 43 touchdowns, right?
Well, hey, man, I gave you those nice yards passing as well.
If
big
you
boy.
have a complaint about your roster, your rating number, go ahead and go to our roster verification form or a registration form. There is a link you can fill in to either submit a rating change request for an individual player or a roster to fit a cap. Spoiler
But
alert, not happening, but you can try.
All right.
Warning: if you're better than me, and you're rated, and you want to be rated below 75, definitely not going to happen.
Magic words, please, boys and girls.
Jacksonville State is in Alabama.
It is, but good night, Florida State. Oh, terrible team.
Good night, David Della Rocca, who's watching the Raiders game as opposed to making me my graphic.
Hey, look at the two.